Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our lesson in Physical Education 8. I am your MAPI teacher, Teacher Rachel Malabuet Mahano. Let's begin our lesson through a prayer, followed by the COVID-19 health protocols, and to be followed by our class rules, and of course, our learning objectives.
Into your hands, I commit again with all I am for you, Lord. You hold my world in the palm of your hand, and I am yours forever. Jesus, I believe in you. Jesus, I belong to you. You're the reason that I live, the reason that I sing with all I
COVID-19 is a disease caused by the new coronavirus. Know the symptoms. They include fever, coughing, muscle pain, shortness of breath. What can you do? Wash your hands frequently with soap and water for 20 seconds or use an alcohol-based hand rub. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. When coughing or sneezing, cover your mouth with a tissue or flexed elbow. Discard tissues into a closed bin and then wash your hands. Maintain a distance of at least 1 meter between yourself and someone who is ill. Seek medical help if you display symptoms. Wear a mask if you are coughing or sneezing, or if you are caring for someone who is sick. Dispose of your masks into a closed bin and then wash your hands. Check trusted sources regularly for accurate information. Remember, the best prevention is to keep yourself healthy and follow these safe steps.
Here is our class rules. In our class, we will try our best, listen to others, be kind to others, be polite, and have fun. Content standards. The learner demonstrates understanding of guidelines and principles in exercise program designed to achieve fitness. Performance standards. The learner modifies a physical activity program for the family or school peers to achieve fitness. We have 3 objectives in our lesson. Number 1, describe the nature and background of the game. Number 2, displays interest in the sport. Number 3, execute the skills involved in the sport. Today, we will have a new lesson, but before that, let us have a short activity entitled Pick One Word. What you are going to do is describe these pictures that I will show you. I will flash 4 pictures in each number and you will guess the correct word that comes into your mind. Is that clear? Are you ready? If you're ready, let's begin. For item number 1, try to guess the correct word in 10 seconds. Time's up. The correct answer is man. Very good. For item number 2, the correct answer is 2. Last number. The right answer is net. With the word man, to, and net, what word can we form? Remember that it could be a different spelling, and we should relate this word to our topic in physical education. Very good. The right word is Mintonet. Did you know that Mintonet was the first name of volleyball? Yes, you are right. Today, we will discuss the game volleyball. So lend me your eyes and ears as we watch the nature and background of the game volleyball. And make sure that you jot down all the important points.
Hello and welcome to History Pod. On the 9th of February 1895, volleyball was invented by William G. Morgan, the Director of Physical Education at the YMCA in Holyoke, Massachusetts. Morgan had attended the YMCA Springfield College, where he'd met James Naismith, the inventor of basketball. After graduating, Morgan continued to work for the YMCA and soon took the position of Director of Physical Education in nearby Holyoke. Having noticed that the speed of basketball made it too challenging for weaker men and older athletes, Morgan set about devising a new game. Drawing on basketball's original aims of being a sport that could be played inside with minimal physical contact, Morgan later wrote that tennis occurred to me, but this required rackets, balls, a net and other equipment, so it was eliminated. But the idea of a net seemed a good one. Naming his game Mintonet, Morgan took a year to refine the rules before staging an exhibition match at the 1896 YMCA Physical Directors Conference at Springfield, after impressing the director of the Professional Physical Education Training School, Dr. Luther Halsey Gulick. The game received a very positive reception from the delegates, including from Dr. Alfred T. Halstead, who suggested renaming the game to volleyball to better reflect the objective. After the positive response to the exhibition game, Morgan continued to experiment with the rules, firstly by raising the height of the net, and then by trying different types of ball to achieve the optimum weight and speed. Sporting goods company A.G. Spalding & Brothers eventually created a new type of ball that achieved this perfect balance he was seeking, and within a few years, Morgan's game had begun to spread around the world.
Based on the previous video, during 1895, William G. Morgan invented the game, and the first name is Mintonet. And after a year of refining the rules and regulations of the game volleyball, the game receives a positive result. After a year of refining the rules by raising the height of the net and by trying to use the different size of ball, the game volleyball began to spread all over the world. Before we continue, let us check your prior knowledge about the facilities and equipment in the game volleyball. Directions. I will show picture of the facilities and equipment in volleyball. Then, you will try to guess if the picture is court dimension, net, pole, antenna, and ball. Okay, let's begin. Number 1. You got it right. It's court dimension. Next. The correct answer is a ball. Next number. The right answer is pole. Next number. What is the right answer for number 4? The right answer is antenna. Last number. The correct answer is net. Thank you for your answers, awesome grade 8 students. Now, let us discuss the facilities and equipment. We have the court dimension. Here is an illustration of a court in a volleyball with measurements. In volleyball, we have different lines in the court. We have the center line, spiking line or the attack line, side lines, and the end lines. Why is it important to know the correct measurements of a volleyball court? Correct! It is important to know the dimensions of the court in any sports to be able to strategize and plan your moves inside the court. You can also be able to adjust and think for the best way to win. Next, we have the net. It is above the center line. For the women competition, it is 7 feet and 4 inches above the ground and 8 feet above for men. We also have the pole. The pole is set 36 feet apart and 3 feet further out from the sidelines. We cannot use the net without a pole, right? So the pole is very important in playing volleyball. Of course, next to the pole is the antenna. Antenna is attached to the net at each end. The purpose of the antenna is to give the referee and the players an aid to judge if the ball is in play or out of bound. It is often red and white in color. The patterns consist of a large red part followed by a large white part repeatedly. As what we have mentioned, the antenna is very useful because it is an aid for the referee to be able to judge correctly whether the ball is in or out. Next, we have the ceiling height. The height of the ceiling should be 23 feet or higher. Why do you think the ceiling height should be 23 feet or higher? It is because if the ceiling height is lower than that, let's say for example the ball touches the ceiling, it could be considered as ball out because according to the rule, once the ball touches anything outside the court, it is considered as out. Lastly, we have the ball. It is spherical ball made from leather or synthetic leather with a circumference of 25.6 inches to 26.4 inches and weight of 9.2 to 9.9 ounce. We should always remember the facilities and equipment in volleyball. Again, what are those? Very good! It's court dimension, net, pole, antenna, ceiling height, and ball. At this juncture, let us watch the basic rules and regulations in volleyball.
So you're about to watch a volleyball game, but you don't know the rules or you need a refresher. Well, I'm here to help you. I'm Rudy Nectarin, and these are the basic rules you need to know about volleyball. A volleyball court is 18 meters long and 9 meters wide, with a net that stretches from one side of the court to the other. In a volleyball game, there are 12 players on the court. 6 players from each team are on both sides of the court. 3 players are at the net, and the other 3 are at the back of the court. The player who serves the ball to the opposing team is at the back right corner. When serving, the player is behind the end line and must serve the ball over the net to the other team. If the ball does not go over the net, or they step over the end line, the other team has possession of the ball. As the ball goes over the net, the team receiving the ball may only touch the ball 3 times before it goes over the net. Let's say this team spikes the ball and the opposing team misses. The team gets possession of the ball again. But the players rotate clockwise. The player served last time moves to their left, and the player who was the opposite hitter moves down, and they serve the ball. In order for a team to get a point, the opposite team either doesn't get the ball over the net, or the ball comes in contact with the floor on their side, or they hit the ball and it lands outside the court. That's all the time I have today. I hope these points helped you understand the rules of volleyball. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the game.
I hope that you really understand the basic rules in volleyball. Now let's move on to the basic skills in volleyball. First one is serving. We have three kinds of serving: underhand service, overhand service, and sidearm service. Underhand service. To serve, the player holds the ball in one hand. Swing the right arm backward, transfer weight to the front foot, and strike the ball from the bottom with a fist. Next is the overhand service. To serve the ball, the player should toss the ball above the head and hit it by extending the arm. To better understand the underhand and overhand service, let's watch this video.
In this video, you will learn how to perform two types of serve. We're going to look at how to do an underhand serve and an overhand serve. First, the underhand serve. Position yourself anywhere behind the baseline. During service, you are never allowed to place your feet inside the court or on the baseline. Point your shoulders towards the net, bend your knees slightly, and bring your weak foot forward. This will be your left foot if you are right-handed. Hold the ball in the hand that's on the same side as your weak foot. Hold the ball in front of you, in line with your other arm, at a height between your hips and waist. Your arm should be slightly bent. Make a pendulum-like movement with your free arm and hit the ball from underneath. You can choose to hit the ball with either an open hand for greater precision or a closed hand for greater power. When you hit the ball, shift your body weight from your back foot to your front foot. Don't try to hit the ball hard. The power of your serve comes from the ample movement and speed of your arm. Next up, the overhand serve. For this serve, extend the arm holding the ball and toss it into the air. The ball should be tossed just above your head, slightly in front of you and in line with your other arm. With your other arm, hit the center of the ball with a flat hand, sending it upwards and forwards. Keep your arm straight. When you hit the ball, shift your body weight from your back foot to your front foot. The underhand serve is the easiest to perform, but also the easiest for your opponent to receive. With both serves, coordination and controlling your movements are essential to striking the ball at the right moment. So time to get training.
Next is the sidearm service. To serve, the player should draw on the right arm from the back and then swing it forward to hit the ball. The ball may be hit directly or it may toss into the air a few inches high. Hitting must follow through parallel to floor. Our next basic skill is passing. Passing is the most important skill in playing volleyball. If the player can pass the ball after the serve, then the team can't make a point. How to properly pass the ball? Number 1, for the ready position, the players needs to bend their knees. Number 2, the four fingers perpendicular and the thumb are parallel to each other. Number 3, the player must straighten their arms to hit the ball either by arms or wrists. Next skill that we need to learn is digging. Digging is a defensive maneuver that the player saves the team from the attack or spike of the offensive team. It is almost the same with pass, but in dig, the player uses different part of their body such as foot, hands, arms, and sometimes legs just to save the ball. Let us watch this video to teach us how to dig.
Hi, my name is Rachel Adams. I'm a middle blocker for Team USA Volleyball, and I was in the Rio Olympics. Let's go, guys. Hey, guys, you ready to talk about digging? So I don't dig that much because I only play back row for one rotation after I serve. And you never know, it could be the most important point of the game, so I have to be ready and I have to make sure that I know how to dig. And I do, so I'm gonna teach you how. You wanna get in a comfortable position. If you're on your toes and the ball comes, you're just gonna fall forward. If you're on your heels and the ball comes, all your weight's gonna be in the back and you're just gonna fall backwards and not be able to move forward. So you wanna be in a nice, athletic, comfortable positioning. And then add your hands. Some common mistakes are crossing, but what you wanna do is take both your hands, have your fingers together, cross them over, do a little cup, and that's gonna be ready. You wanna be ready when the ball comes at you, make sure that you have your hands like that. So practice getting in that comfortable position. When the ball comes, boom, boom. You're gonna be a digging machine. For this drill, it's all about where your angle contacts the ball and getting under the ball. I'm gonna dig to myself, and so to dig to myself, I want the ball to go up, and then set. You saw how the angle went up? It's because I got under the ball and I angled it up. Okay, again. And so this is an important drill, and we still do this in our USA gym, because when we dig the ball and it becomes hard driven, we want the ball to go up, and we don't want it to go out because it gives us a chance for the setter to get to the ball, and so we can have a really good attack.
Okay, next is setting. Setting is a tactical skill that the player receives the ball and direct it to the player who can spike it in the opponent's court. How to set the ball? The player who will receive the ball needs to make sure that their hands fit in the shape of the ball, to toss above the head through pushing the ball and extending their arms. Okay, so let's watch this video to learn more about setting.
Let's go, guys. Hey guys, we're here in the court and we're gonna talk about setting. It's so important for everyone to know how to set and not just the setter, because sometimes the setter is gonna play defense. So who else is gonna set the ball? I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna talk about hand positioning and teach you some drills. First, I'm gonna talk to you about hand positioning. So grab your volleyball and shape it like a triangle. And then think of it next as drinking a gallon of water, and it's really heavy. You just take it straight up, and you have your elbows out. You don't want them too tight, you don't want them too wide, and your hands nice and tight, and drink the water. Okay, so you ready for our first drill? Grab your volleyball, and we're gonna work with the wall. So make sure you find a wall with a decent amount of space. Have your right foot forward, left foot back. Make sure you're creating that position around the ball. And then we're just gonna do little baby sets. And this helps for ball control and just working on getting the ball in the tips of your fingers. And also you can add in a nice little rock in your body. You wanna go down, you wanna go back up. This drill really helps with your control, and as a setter, you want to be able to have control of the ball because you want to be able to put it where you want to put it. I see a lot of my setters actually still using this drill before practice just to warm up their hands, their wrists, and just to get that touch, because it's so hard to just jump into the game and immediately have the accuracy to set your hitters. So they just work on their touch, and so when they're ready for practice, it's just a nice clean touch and they're ready to go.
Next basic skill is spiking. It is an act of slamming the ball in downward motion across the net to the opponent's court. How do we properly spike the ball? Step right foot followed by the left foot, then jump and hit the ball. We can see here is Alyssa Valdez, also known as Phenom. She is considered as one of the aces in Philippine volleyball. Now, let us watch the top spikes during UAAP Season 79.
Sideline, oh, what a hit from Jessica Galanza.
Galanza, yan ang kailangan nila gawin. They have to be at the momentum.
Goes in the middle, and in the middle is what Bernadette wants. Like, she can choose left, she can choose right, or she can put it.
Excellent digs.
But there's one way to stop the run. It's by doing that. A sharp serve. Estradiera to Putre. And she puts it away. Wow. Back set. Oh, Morente finds a spot. Good reaction by Ricardo Pina. Second snap. Rado setting it up to Maragunon. Joanna Maragunon.
Way up in the air, but not open him.
Short. Inside and in the middle. And a palm reach by Chin Basas.
Yeah, share ko sa'yo.
Molde. Oh, what an angle from Isa Molde. That is a beautiful angle.
That's right. And Morente. Vera getting that. Oh, and Lauren drilling that one in.
Uh,
The last basic skill in volleyball is blocking. Blocking is an action taken by the player to stand or jump in front of the net to stop the opponent's attack. How to properly block the ball? Number 1. For the ready position, the player should bend their knees and elbow, and the arms are raised in the front of the face. Number 2. The blocker must be alert and prepared to run left or right when the setter set the ball to the spiker. Number 3. The blocker should jump straight with extended arms and spread fingers to successfully alter the opponent's attack. Here is another video to teach us how to block.
In this video, you'll learn how to block. Blocking is not counted as a touch of the ball. Follow these 3 steps in order to block effectively. Prepare, jump, and block. Firstly, prepare. Stand about 30 centimeters from the net. Move towards your opponent by sidestepping or by running along the net. Keep your feet parallel to your shoulders and your legs very slightly bent in order to be ready to jump. Reach your arms up and bend them with your forearms parallel to the net and with your hands at head height. Secondly, jump. Always begin your jump just after your opponent jumps. Simultaneously push with your legs and raise your arms. Jump vertically, keeping your head high and your eyes on the ball. Once in the air, stretch your arms with your hands open and your fingers spread to have maximum surface area for the block. Thirdly, block. Adapt your block depending on the 2 following situations. If you are late or your opponent is bigger than you, block defensively. For this, bring your hands back towards your head, bending your wrists. Try to slow the ball during contact in order to retrieve it afterwards. If the ball is very close to the net or the opponent is smaller than you, block offensively. For this, bend your body forwards so that your arms and hands can enter into the opponent's court. Don't forget to control your fall in order to avoid any contact with the net or entering into the opponent's court, as this would be counted as a foul. Land on your front foot, then uncurl your toes and gently bend your knees. Blocking is the best way to destabilize an attack, so adapt your block according to the match situation. Over to you.
Again, let us recall the basic skills in volleyball: serving, passing, digging, setting, spiking, and blocking. There are 6 basic skills in volleyball that we need to master. For our activity, draw and write a short description of at least 1 equipment in playing volleyball and answer the question below. Write your answer on the space provided. Just be reminded that William G. Morgan created the sport of volleyball in 1895. William named it as Mintonette until a professor from Springfield College in Massachusetts noticed the volleying nature of the game and proposed the volleyball as the name of the sport. In playing volleyball, there are 6 facilities and equipment. These are court dimension, net, pole, antenna, ceiling height, and ball. For our assessment, let us all read the directions. Read each item carefully and choose the letter of the best answer. Write your answer on 1/4 sheet of paper. Listen carefully as I read the following questions. Number 1. Who created the sport of volleyball on 1895? A. William C. Morgan. B. James Naismith. C. Duke of Beaufort. D. Wilhelm Steinitz. Number 2. The following are the facilities and equipment in volleyball except blank. A. Court dimension. B. Stand. C. Net. D. Ball. Number 3. To serve, the player holds the ball in one hand. Swing the right arm backward, transfer weight to the front foot, and strike the ball from the bottom with the fist. What do you call this type of serving? A. Passing, B. Sidearm service, C. Underhand service, D. Overhand service. Number 4. It is a defensive maneuver that the players save the team from the attack or spike of the offensive team. A. Passing, B. Serving, C. Setting, D. Digging. Last number, number 5. It is an action taken by the player to stand or jump in the front of the net to stop the opponent's attack. A. Digging, B. Spiking, C. Serving, D. Blocking. Finalize your answers and pass your paper and a count of 10. Thank you so much, Grade 8. Thank you for participating in our lesson in volleyball. I hope you really understand the nature and background of the game, the facilities and equipment, and also the basic skills in playing volleyball. Once again, I am your Physical Education 8 teacher, Teacher Rishan Malabuet Mahano. Thank you for listening. See you on our next lesson.